We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today, so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the indecision in Bitcoin. As you know, Bitcoin was in a symmetrical triangle pattern over the course of the last several weeks, but over the course of the last week and a half, I guess. But Bitcoin did break bearish out of that, and we've seen several spinning top candlestick formations. For anybody who has been through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, you will be aware that a spinning top candlestick formation indicates indecision in the cryptocurrency space. Essentially, it's created by the bulls and the bears playing tug of war, and they both start to gain ground, but neither one of them come out victorious. And it shows that there is a very much so a balance of power. And the reason that that's important is because we've just witnessed a multi-$1,000 rally on Bitcoin from about 38 to 53, almost $15,000 in size. And so when we see these spinning top candlestick formations, it indicates that the bulls are losing strength. And of course, if that's the case, that begs the question, are we about to go into a protracted downtrend? Ever since Monday, we've been calling for $48,000 to $50,000 as a corrective movement. And over the course of the time that has passed since Monday, today's Thursday, we've seen quite a bit of indecisive movement on Bitcoin and quite a bit of bearish movement on Bitcoin to boot. The momentum has slowed down, as we can see on the Crypto Jeb Oscillator, and we're going to be looking at all of that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. I'm very excited for all of you guys to be here. Thank you so very much for tuning in. If you're new here, my name is Jeb McAfee. I've been working in the cryptocurrency space for almost 7 years. I got into Bitcoin on July 31st, 2017. Yeah, I was 16 years old, found Bitcoin, got into it. Several months later, decided to start a YouTube channel. I decided to name that YouTube channel Crypto Jeb. Here we are 6 years later, making content. Love what I do for a living, and I love helping you guys achieve something that I call financial sovereignty, which is a state of being in control of your finances and your financial institutions, lest they should be in control of you. We live in an era of financial tyranny. You are enslaved to debt. You are enslaved to financial systems. You're enslaved to, frankly, unwise money practices. And I want to help you get out of slavery to all of those things. You know, I used to kind of tiptoe around, not use the word slavery, but no, that's exactly what it is. We're enslaved to debt. As a nation, we're $34 trillion in debt on the government level. We're enslaved to student loan and credit card debt on the consumer level. The average American has well over $40,000 in student loan debts. A lot of them have well over that amount of credit card debt. Many people have, they're up to their eyes in mortgages that they can't afford. They're up to their eyes in vehicles they can't afford. They're spending more than they make, so they're enslaved to their frivolous purchases. They're enslaved to JCPenney and TJ Maxx. They're enslaved to putting money in the wrong places in their investments, and they don't know where to put them. So they put them in the wrong thing. They put them in the wrong penny stock. They put them in the wrong altcoin. They put it all into Dogecoin. I've heard horror stories about people taking out second mortgages on their home. That's right, yeah. So you have like negative $300,000 in equity in your property, slamming it into Dogecoin at the top and then it crashing and you go bankrupt. My banker told me a story of a friend of his that did that. And it's very sad what's going on in the world right now. And I'm not going to tiptoe around. The word for it is slavery. We are enslaved to stupid decisions. We are enslaved to debt. We are enslaved to a nation that, quite frankly, does not care about our well-being, that does not care about our success. They care about building the government larger and larger and larger, because when you put somebody in the position of power, unless they are a very, very, very godly individual, their desire is going to be gaining more power for themselves. That is the government that we serve. Those are the institutions that we serve that are run by the bureaucrats that we serve. And I want to stop this cycle of getting fancier skyscrapers for bankers. I want to stop this trend of giving all of our money to interest payments on loans. I want to stop this trend of being enslaved to finances and help you to regain control over them, that we may have control over one of the most important areas of our life, which is our finances, that we may use them for the betterment of ourselves, our families, our communities, our churches, and our society. So let's read some chat. Really excited for all of you to be here this morning. Crypto Nebs is in chat. Said, good morning, Jeb. Are you able to explain staking on Ledger wallets that's not one of the native stakes? I'd have to look at that. Let's come back. Let's circle back to that question. I have not staked anything on Ledger. Right now, I have a Ledger, but I don't have anything on Ledger that needs to be staked on Ledger. I will only go into that much detail on it. But I haven't used the staking services on Ledger. When I'm staking things, I'm typically doing that somewhere else. So I'm not necessarily the person to ask on that simply because I haven't done that, but I could look into it. Sean O'Brien's in chat, said, hey, Christina Orozco is in chat. Crypto Mini Bikes in chat. Queen Quantum Endangered. Bob Riley, Crypto Ohio, asked for the ADA charts. I think we will take a look at the ADA charts. Piyush A said, hey, Jeb. Darius Vilunas is in chat, said, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten son, that all who should believe should have everlasting life and not perish. Love it. Alexander Arango is in chat. Marley 123. Still don't know how to pronounce your name. Mattis S. Tim Snyder said, good morning, Jeff, from Southern Illinois. Alex Nibo's in chat. LB. Brandon Sandoval. Ernesto Flores. Luis Herrera. It's probably the rolled R and then the flat R on the second one. Sultan of Salt's in chat. Munhu Mutapa. That's an awesome name. In chat with the rocket ships. Mr. Check 1984. Edsel's in chat. Forked in Fire Iron Kitchen. That's cool. Micah Mann, Austin Patrick, RC Moore, the French Toast Breakfast Club, Dax Brody Queen, and so many more. If I sat here and introduced everybody by name, man, we'd be here for the next 5 minutes. So shout out to all of you guys for tuning in. And let's go break this financial slavery that we are living in. Let's go break this financial slavery that we are in. We are enslaved to debt. We are enslaved to foolishness. We are enslaved to government that wants to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bankrupt future generations. And financially, we're enslaved to a dollar that is losing value every single day. Luckily, there's a technology for that, and it's called Bitcoin. It's currently trading at $51,300, and it is down 2.22% over the last 7 days. But let's not forget, when I got into crypto on that fateful day, July 31st, 2017, Bitcoin was trading at $2,900. We're going to start off today with a little bit of a historical snapshot. We're going to go back to as close as we can to the day that I got into crypto, July 30th, 2017. This is what CoinMarketCap looked like when I got into crypto. This is what I first laid eyes on. This is the day before I got into it. But take a look at this. Bitcoin's trading at $27.57. Ethereum is trading at not $1,900, $197. XRP's at 16 cents. Litecoin's at $40. That would be my first purchase at $41.02 on Litecoin. NEM is trading at 16 cents. Who remembers NEM? XEM. You probably have not heard of it if you've been in the space for less than 4 years. ETH Classic was up in the top 10. So was Dash, so was IOTA, and Monero and Stratus. Many of these projects, you no longer even know what they are. EOS is down towards 100 right now. BitConnect obviously went bankrupt. If anybody knows what happened with BitConnect, it was one of the largest Ponzi schemes in the history of the world. BitConnect would go to $400 before crashing to zero in the span of about an hour after they were revealed. BitShares, Qtum, Zcash, Tether, Steam. Who remembers Steam? Veritasium, Waves. Waves actually reached out and tried to sponsor the channel one time, but we don't take coin sponsorship. Sorry, Waves. We don't do that. Guess you never watched the channel. Iconomy is here. Bytecoin, Siacoin. This is what CoinMarketCap looked like, by the way. It looked very similar to this. This is the market that I got into. Bitcoin's at $45 billion. Right now, it's over $1 trillion. Let's get some historical context here, guys. If you are worried about Bitcoin right now, let's just slam on the brakes for a second, and let's kind of have a little conversation here on the side of the road and say, look, there are projects that you look at that history, that historical snapshot, and you say, that doesn't look that great. XRP is only up 200% from that time. It's one of the reasons XRP is not a huge holding of mine. You look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is up 15 times. Bitcoin is up like 18 times from that point. They're up over 1,000% from that point in time. It's one of the reasons that I recommend holding such a large portion of your bag in Bitcoin and Ethereum. They've got the track record, and both of them are going to do big things this bull market. I'm expecting several hundred more percent coming out of both of them. All right, so let's keep the perspective. And when we go in a little bit of a correction here, if you're new to crypto and this is your if this is your tendency and this is scary for you, let's not get scared. Let's not fret. I have watched over half of this market. Guys, I've been here for over half of the history of the entire cryptocurrency market at this point. And the fact of the matter is, there is good technology here. There's a lot of crap. There's a lot of junk. There are 2 million coins, 2.2 million coins listed on CoinMarketCap, if you can see that. I'm not sure if I have my framing set up where you can see it, but up here on the top left of CMC, 2.2 million coins. When I got in, it was like 600, right? It was tiny. Overall market capitalization was less than what Ethereum is worth right now, except it was like a quarter of what Ethereum is right now. Things have grown, and they're here to stay. We've got a great future ahead of us, but there's a lot of junk in crypto. What we have to do is we have to parse out what's the junk that's not going to go anywhere, that's not going to bring us returns, but we're actually just going to end up losing money on it, and we'd be better off having that money in a high-yield savings account because at least it would have gotten 5% and wouldn't have gone to zero. And what is actually going to bring about a return? Bitcoin and Ethereum are great picks. Binance, decent pick. I have concerns about its centralization. I have concerns about the way the validators are centralized, but it is rallying, and it is attached to a big name. I'm not personally a holder of Binance for those reasons. Solana is a good project. It's got a lot of flaws. There are things wrong with it. The fact that it goes down makes me question whether the thing's even a blockchain or not, but it is still a project that I think will go back to all-time high. I think it will rally quite a bit over the course of the next 18 months. It's down 10% over the last 7 days, though, so if you're trying to pick some up, now might not be a bad time. Cardano, great project, down 2.43%. Avalanche is down 12%. Tron going on a massive rally. This is a very interesting point in the market when you see this kind of thing happen. There's a lot of divergence. Some coins are rallying, some coins are not. That spells more indecision for the space. As we're going to talk about in just a moment, there is indecision on Bitcoin that is something that we need to pay very, very close attention to because it can be a trend reversal sign. Ever since Monday, we've been saying, guys, pump the brakes. We need to see where Bitcoin's going to go simply because Bitcoin has a lot of indecision. Are we looking at a $48,000 to a $50,000 Bitcoin? Possibly. Yeah, that might happen. And so when we see that there's a lot of indecision in the altcoins, that also should be kind of a red flag for us, kind of a step on the brakes for the next couple of days. Let's see what plays out here. Bulls, take a breather, take a break, maybe even take some profits. And get ready because I'm sure we're going to have a much larger rally to come in the next couple of months. But for now, we may be needing a bit of a break. Polkadot is down. Polygon's up. Toncoin's down. Immutable X is up. Filecoin, Caspa are up. But Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Uniswap, Shiba Inu, and ICP are down. You're seeing the trend there. There is divergence. Normally, when you have a huge amount of bullishness in everything, that's when you know, okay, the bulls are in charge, everything's running together. And that actually is a tendency that goes all the way back to the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Dow Jones Rail Averages. Technical analysis was officially founded by a guy named Edward Dow back in the late 19th century, not the 20th century, late 19th century. So this is over 120 years ago. You may know Edward Dow from something called the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and you also may know Dow Jones from this tiny little publication that you might find in the back of the newspaper section called the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, he founded that. He also founded technical analysis. He founded the Wall Street Journal so he would have a place to put his technical analysis, and the reason that people started buying the WSJ was so that they could read the technical analysis. Keep in mind, technical analysis has quite a pedigree. And it actually goes back even further than that, but that's what you would probably call the official start date of TA, was when Edward Dow started printing out his candlestick charts for the DJI and for the DJRI, Dow Jones Rail Average. Dow Jones Rail Average. DJRA, I think is what the abbreviation was. It's not really around anymore. But my point is, the technical analysis started out as measuring the correlation and the divergence of the DJI and the DJRA. Dow Jones Industrial DJIA, DJRA, the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Dow Jones Rail Average. If they were both moving to the upside, that was convergence, and that signaled that there was a lot of bullishness in the trend. If only one was moving up, that was a yellow light, like, hang on, guys, the whole market's not moving together. Something's wrong here. The railroads make up half of the economy. If they're not rallying, but everything else is, that can't rally for long because you need the railroads to transport anything. This is before internet. This is when telegraph was around, but it was barely anything. It was not the kind of telecommunications networks that we have now, not even close. I mean, you might send a telegraph once every 6 months. If you wanted to send somebody a message, it was still very common to send somebody on, the Pony Express kind of thing. Pony Express didn't exist anymore, but you get my point. You send somebody to send the message, or you send it over postal service. When those two ran both in the same direction to the downside, then obviously that was a bearish sign. But my point here is that if you take that same philosophy that founded technical analysis, that was the first trend that technical analysts ever used to analyze the stock market. If you take that exact same first trend of saying, look, there is a divergence here, there is, in other words, indecision here, then what you find is that when you see altcoins running in multiple different directions, one's going this way, one's going that way, one's going this way, one's going that way, which way is that ship going? You don't know. You've got 100 rowers and they're all rowing in different directions. It becomes a mess and you get stuck in the middle of the ocean with no direction. And so that's what we're witnessing right now, is that Bitcoin, wavered. As you can see, it is starting to stall. It has for the last 4 days. We called that on Monday. The exact same thing has been playing out ever since we said that on Monday. And the altcoins are doing the exact same thing. They're sputtering, and they're not really sure which direction they're trying to go. And so that does spell a lot of indecision. That does spell that the bears are taking back control. The reason that Edward Dow was able to ascertain that if the two averages weren't moving in the same direction, that it was a yellow light and it was likely a reversal coming in, was because you have to reverse one of the averages before you can reverse both of them. So if they're both running together, then they're moving in the right direction. You have the bullish momentum or the bearish momentum. If one of them changes direction, then it's likely that the other one will soon follow because they're so interconnected. Well, in the same way, the altcoins are so very interconnected. Basically, the altcoins and Bitcoin, Dow Jones Industrial, Dow Jones Rail, if they're not moving in the same direction, or not even so much if they're not moving in the same direction, but if they're frazzled and the altcoins are going all over the place, some are up, some are down, that indecision spells that there is not bullish confidence in the market anymore, and it does spell that there is probably going to be a trend reversal to come, which is what we are looking for ever since Monday. So how does this apply to the chart? We're going to talk about that in just a moment, but I do want to read a little bit of chat, and we will continue. Let's see. AMKT, alongside crypto market index. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Can I chart that on? Can I put that in DeFi long? Okay, there's a TVL for that. Oh, cool. Check this out. All right, guys. Alongside total value locked, there is a DeFi llama version of this. Okay, I don't know if that's what you actually meant for me to look at. You're probably looking at wrapped Bitcoin, USD coin. You'd have to tell me which one you're asking me to look at because there's a bunch of them. Are you talking about the overall market? This is Tether. Which one are you talking about here? It's an index, which is very interesting. I'm wanting to have more indices, if you will, in cryptocurrency. Wrapped BTC on Polygon. You're looking for the DeFi Llama one? Micah Hall, that's very interesting. I'm glad that that's there. I would love to look more into that. Let's read some more chat. I had a good question here. Jason Burt said, good morning, Jeb. In your financial coaching, will you take a look at my portfolio and give directions? Blessings. Absolutely. Jason, what I do in financial coaching is I kind of coach on every part of personal finance, but obviously what I get the most of is people wondering, what should I do with my crypto portfolio? That's obviously, we're a crypto channel, so that makes sense, and I'm more than happy to do that. I've done that for dozens of clients, and I would be more than happy to look at your portfolio and give you some pointers. Ultimately, I'm not a financial advisor, so my goal will be to help you uncover what you should be investing in, because what somebody should invest in, when you start getting into nuts and bolts, everybody should buy the stock market. Everybody should buy the S&P 500. Everybody should buy Bitcoin. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't care if somebody doesn't like it. Everybody should buy those two things. When you start getting into anything much more specific than that, then that's where I have to start kind of picking your brain, saying, all right, based on who you are you more risk on? Are you more risk off? Are you somebody that's very structured and you can manage an altcoin portfolio of 45 altcoins? Or are you somebody that says, I got 5 minutes a week, like, this is a side gig for me. I'm lucky to even be tuning into your channel. So I need it simple. I'm going to kind of pick your brain and figure out what's best for you. And we're going to work together to figure out how we can eke out the most gains with the least risk, calculated risk. It's okay to take risk. Any investment carries with it risk, but we're going to minimize risk, maximize reward, and figure out what portfolio would bring that with your specific situation, with what technology you like and what technology you understand and are wanting to keep up with. You have a passion to follow. And yes, I'd be more than happy to do that. Like I said, I do that with a lot of clients. And we can put into place a structure for how you're going to invest in that portfolio, how you're going to divest out of that portfolio. If you guys are interested in financial coaching, I love financial coaching. It's awesome. So make sure to check out the link in the description box down below if you want to sign up for that. Great question. Let's keep it moving here. Master of Parsnips. Good to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while. Say good afternoon from Lancashire, England. Shout out to England. Shout out to England. I believe that I'm actually Scottish. So I think I'm somewhat English. I think I'm also Scottish. That's so cool. Never been across the pond. I'd love to go to England one day. Shout out to you. All right. AMKT USDC. AMKT USDC. This is just the market cap of USD coin, right? I suppose this is the amount of money that is in. It says 121. Let's see here. USD coin calculated by TradingView on Uniswap ETH3. See if I can figure out what that's actually tracking. Is that tracking its Market cap? Sorry, I'm not familiar with this index. I'm going to have to make myself familiar with this index, so it looks interesting. Market cap, 28. You'll have to tell me what this is. This looks like it's the points. Let's see. No, that's not it. You'll have to explain a little bit more what you're wanting me to look at there. All right, let's make sure that we answered everything, and then we will keep it moving here. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. You'd be more than welcome, my friend. Awesome. I love it. All right. Bo Hunt said hi. Good morning. Good morning to you. Let's do this. We've got to talk about how Bitcoin is likely going to correct. Dun, dun, dun. Nobody wants to hear me say that. Make sure to hit that like button if you have not already. Let's get up to 200 likes. And let's not forget also that today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live is brought to you by none other than the one and only world famous NordVPN. If you sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below, you are going to be getting access to a world-class security software that is going to protect you while you browse online by shielding your IP address and making you almost invisible to those that would try and seek you out and hurt you. Let's put it like this: it's a little bit like a cloaking device. You know, you're flying your plane over enemy skies, and they got their missiles locked on, and they're ready to fire. You put on the cloaking device, and they can't see you. You can do whatever you need to do, and they can't see you. That's a little bit what it is. You got hackers, you got phishing attempts, you got scams, you got fraud, all kinds of nonsense floating around on the internet. And if you don't have your cloaking device on, it's a lot easier for them to get to you. So sign up for NordVPN if you have not already. Put your cloaking device on. Stay safe online so that they don't sink their teeth into you and enslave you financially by stealing your money, by logging into your accounts, by holding your accounts ransom, whatever it may be. Make sure to sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below and do it all risk-free with a 30-day money-back refund guarantee. Let's keep it moving here, guys. We got a lot of TA to do. All right. Even on the weekly, there's a spinning top. For anybody who's been through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, you will be familiar with the spinning top candlestick formation. The spinning top candlestick formation is something that we've been teaching on for many years. And the reason that we teach on the spinning top candlestick formation is because, I believe it's right down here, it's in our Introduction to Candlestick Analysis video. So make sure you check that out. There's a bunch of patterns in there. In that video, we talk about the spinning top, and it looks a little something like this. There's one of them forming on Bitcoin's weekly chart right now. Boom sauce, right there. It is a red spinning top. The color doesn't really matter all that much, but the purpose of the spinning top is to warn you that there is indecision in the space. It indicates that there is potentially a trend reversal en route. And we have seen ourselves spinning tops time and time again in the cryptocurrency space. We saw a spinning top right here that preceded this drop. We saw a spinning top right here. And these three candlesticks, but mainly this one right here, Monday, January 15th, 2024, that preceded the rally. Pretty much every time the market goes through a reversal, there's a spinning top involved. You can see a spinning top right here. You can see a spinning top right here. Basically, short, fat, stubby body, long wicks on either end. It's almost like somebody's spinning around with their hands out. It looks like a dreidel. For any of you who may be Jewish who are watching, it looks like a dreidel. You know, the little spinning tops that you would cast lots with. It looks like a dreidel. That's why it's called a spinning top. It's also known as a top. And so it does indicate that there is reversal more than likely to come because it indicates indecision. And of course, if you throw a ball in the air, there comes a point where the ball reaches its apoapsis or its apogee, depending on whether you're speaking English or Spanish, and that is the moment in time where you reach the top of a suborbital curve or even an orbital curve. It's the point where you are the farthest away from ground level. And when you get to that point in time and you throw the ball in air, there comes a time where it reaches the top. And it's right here. And for a time, the ball is only moving sideways. It's not moving up or down. It is moving sideways, and there is absolutely no vertical momentum whatsoever. Again, that is called the apogee or the apoapsis in rocket science. In markets, it's called the top. See, in markets, we tend to give things much simpler names instead of, an archipluvian supernova with a side of quasar. You know what I mean? So in Bitcoin, we have what's known as a top. You throw a ball in suborbital curve, it's called apoapsis, it's called a top. Well, if you throw the ball, again, there's a moment where it's not moving up or down, it's moving sideways. And in markets, the same thing happens. And in markets, it's just called the top, because we like to keep things simple, because we're not as smart as rocket scientists. All right, I almost became a rocket scientist. I was going to become an astrophysicist, but I decided, not smart enough for that. Let me go do charts. I'm just kidding. But you can see there's a spinning top right here even. November 1st, 2021. There's kind of a spinning top here, but it's actually more of a shooting star mixed in with a spinning top here on November 8th, 2021. Pretty much every time you go into a market, you're going to find something that looks somewhat like a spinning top preceding a major market reversal. And at the moment, we are seeing one form again, once again, on the weekly chart. That does indicate that either we're taking a breather before we have one final leg up and then we have a major correction. Maybe we drop just to where we are right now, and then we rally one more time, and then we have a drop after we get to 57.5, which I think is going to happen in the next month or two. Or we have a more protracted drop, and we drop down to $48,000. Either way, Bitcoin is likely seeing non-bullish activity, whether that be sideways or bearish is yet to be determined, but we're likely to see non-bullish activity over the course of the next few days. And that is something that we should pause at, and we should say, look, what do we do with that? If Bitcoin is not bullish over the next few days, what do we do? Well, it gives us time to make sure our dollar cost averaging is in position. It gives us time to learn more about the market. It gives us time to do more long-term technical analysis, so we have a much better understanding of the actual backdrop that Bitcoin is painting on. It gives us a lot of time, and time is a valuable resource. So corrections on Bitcoin, especially when they exist in space-time, are corrections that we like to see because time gives us options, right? And so when we have those options, we get an opportunity to use them wisely. What are some things that we should be doing right now? Well, first and foremost, I want you to be dollar cost averaging into something. Buy something, guys. Have you seen these markets in the last 90 days? That's not over, I don't think. I don't think it's even close to over. I think many of these markets will do what they just did again, and probably again. All right, so if you're buying something in Bitcoin, start with Bitcoin. If you're buying something in crypto, start with Bitcoin, get yourself some ETH, and then after you've done those two things, get some alts. In that order, yes, please. Okay, if you meet with me in financial coaching, and you bring a portfolio to me that has no Bitcoin and no Ethereum in it, you know what I'm going to do? Whoosh! I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. But I'm going to say why. Why not? I've asked people that question before because people always come to me in coaching and they're like, yeah, I'm just hoping for a bigger return than big. I mean, it might 300x, it might 300%, but I'm looking for 500. And I'm like, wait just a minute, dude. You got 75 grand here. You could put into $250,000. That's not enough. Worth 400 grand. So it's not like they're worth $100 million. I'm not thinking of anybody in particular. I'm kind of amalgamating like 5 different stories all at once. So don't feel attacked, anybody who's been in coaching. I love you. But I don't need any Bitcoin. Every time at the end of the call, every time, this has happened multiple times. This has happened, I can think of at least 2 examples off the top of my head. And again, all my coaching calls are 100% private, but I will kind of share my lessons from them. Every single time somebody doesn't have Bitcoin, I say, would you sleep better at night knowing you had Bitcoin, knowing that it is the most reliable cryptocurrency? And they all say, yeah, I probably would. And I look at them, I say, listen, you've got a 6-figure portfolio here. You are not hurting, okay? You are doing well. You're making money. This portfolio is going to do well. I want you to do well, but I also want you to sleep well at night. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid, yet thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. That is the promise of wisdom in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 22, I think it is. Go read it for yourself. Feel free. Might be 23. Might be 24. Somewhere in there. It's the top of the page on the left, on the right page in my Bible. Anyway, I can picture it, but I think it's verse 24. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid, yet thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. When you lay down to go to bed, are you afraid? Oh, crap, I didn't buy enough Bitcoin. Oh, nonsense. I put 10 grand in this coin. I got no idea what it's going to do. If you're wise, you should be laying down, and you should not be afraid. And you should lay down, and your sleep should be sweet. If your portfolio is set up correctly in a wise way, you know how you ought to be sleeping? That's how you ought to be sleeping. Your sleep should be sweet. You're like, yeah, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. You got 10 grand invested in something, you have no clue what it is, and you got no Bitcoin. You know how you're sleeping? You're like, honey, I need to go check. I'll be back in like 3 hours. I got to go do some research. That's how you're sleeping. That's not good. You're trying to sleep and you're afraid, and your sleep is bitter. It's not sweet. If you're wise, this is the promise. You shall lie down, and your sleep shall be sweet, and you shall not be afraid. Read it. It's an inspired word of God for the Christians watching who respect that. If you don't, it's still true. If you don't like it, it's still true. When you do a wise thing, you will lie down and you shall not be afraid. You shall lie down and your sleep shall be sweet. I am here to tell you that if you're invested in crypto and you don't have some Bitcoin backing that portfolio, you're going to lay down and you're going to think to yourself, oh, crap, I'm going to miss out on almost a guaranteed 200%. Yeah, I can get 500% over here, but what happens if Solana goes down again? What happens if Cardano doesn't get the adoption that it needs? What happens if the team breaks up at Avalanche? What happens if, fill in the blank, there's another software that replaces Cosmos? What happens if? You don't really have that with Bitcoin. Nobody holds the Iron Throne is secure for Bitcoin, man. So the first thing that we can do, to round it all back to where we started, the first thing that we can do in this time that Bitcoin's going through a correction is we can get ourselves straight. We can get ourselves straight, and we can make sure that we have some Bitcoin in this portfolio. You are a fool if you have a portfolio in cryptocurrency that does not include Bitcoin. You think you're playing the game. You think you're saying, oh, I'm going to get double in the altcoins. Yes, and you are tripling your risk for double the reward. That is not a wise decision. It's called a risk to reward ratio. You learn that on day 1 in CT2A. Get your risk to reward ratio right, and you do that by starting with the market. If you're in the stock market, you start by buying the S&P 500. You don't buy single stocks until you buy the S&P 500. Don't believe me? Ask anybody who's become a multimillionaire in the stock market. They started by buying the S&P 500 because if crap hit the fan on their single stocks, they still had the S&P 500. They still had some kind of actively managed fund that had hundreds of stocks in it because you diversify the risk profile. If you were going to pull Andrew Carnegie's style of saying, have all your eggs in one basket, but make sure it's a DAMN good basket. That's what he says. He's talking about the steel industry. He's talking about being an entrepreneur. When you're an entrepreneur, put them all in one basket. Don't have 8 businesses. Run one business and make it the best darn business in the entire field. When you're investing, make sure that you're diversified and spreading out your risk profile and getting as much gain as you can with as low risk as possible, because guess what? If you're my age, you got 45 years to invest. If you're twice my age, you still got 25 years to invest, and just about anything's going to bring you 1,000% return in the span of 25 years, probably even the stock market, to be totally honest with you. Make sure that you have the foundation of the portfolio set. And then from there, make sure at that point, after that, at that point, make sure that you invest in smaller cap altcoins. So the first thing we do with this sideways action on Bitcoin is that if we have not started dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin yet, and we don't have any Bitcoin, if you got a giant Bitcoin position like me, then maybe you don't. But if you are not holding any Bitcoin, I recommend starting with Bitcoin. I think it's foolhardy to be invested in crypto and not invested in Bitcoin. I'll put that out there. I know a lot of people that have done that. I don't know one of them that was successful doing that. Not one. Okay? Successful in the long term. All right. Next thing's next. We make sure that we are investing in a lump sum fund, which is a fund that we have on the sidelines generating yield in an interest-bearing account, whether that be USDC or a high yield have a high yield account with a online savings account, whatever it is. You can get 5% in USDC. You can also get 5% at CIT Bank. That's a good example. Wherever you have a lump sum fund that you DCA into, you dollar cost average into. It's not technically dollar cost averaging. You're just on a recurring basis putting money in there. And then if Bitcoin drops down to 48, then you say, all right, I'll put 10% of that fund into it. All right, if the market drops down to, if Solana drops down to 80, I'll put 10% of that fund into it. Those are the two things you do. You dollar cost average into a portfolio of cryptocurrencies, and you dollar cost average, not so much dollar cost averaging, but you put money on a recurring basis into that fund. And if you see a good opportunity, you don't try and make the opportunity. You have the money there, and then if one presents itself, then you know what you do. You be opportunistic with the opportunity. You're not planning for Bitcoin to crash because you and I don't have any power over where Bitcoin goes. But if Bitcoin does crash, then you are ready for it. You're not planning and saying, I'm going to buy in on the next dip. No, we're buying right now because we're trying to minimize the risk, and Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot more than 50K, at least based on our analysis. That's what we think is going to happen. And then from there, if Bitcoin does drop down to 27 grand, then you've got the money on the side and you take the opportunity. Most people that became billionaires in 08 had no idea 08 was coming, but you know what? They were sitting on $500 million in cash, and they bought up 5,700 apartment complexes, and now they're billionaires. They didn't plan for 2008. They planned that eventually every market is going to crash. And so they had cash on the side. Get yourself out of debt, get a pile of cash, and when a correction comes, you get to buy things 50 cents on the dollar. You get to buy them 20 cents on the dollar. You get to buy things 75 cents on the dollar, and then that's where your returns come from. Dollar cost average to make sure that you are always putting something in, and then you have a pile of cash on the side, which allows you to take advantage of opportunities should they arise. That is what I want you to be doing right now in this period of consolidation and sideways on Bitcoin. Build that architecture in case we do drop down to $44,000. It could happen. make sure you have some money on the side. Have a pile of cash. I've told you guys this before. I was just coaching somebody yesterday. I told them yesterday and the day before. I said, look, this stuff is not easy. It is hard. And this stuff is not quick. It can be quick, but generally speaking, it takes time. But the one thing about it is that it is pretty darn simple. It is not very complicated. People try and make it very complicated, and technical analysis itself is pretty complicated. So you can layer that on top, but start with the bare bones investment. Start with the DCAing into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Do that. You know why? Circle it all back. Coin market cap. Cryptocurrencies. Historical snapshots. This is why. Oh, Mr. Altcoin investor who thinks you're going to pick the next big cap altcoin. Other than Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP, what cryptocurrency that was in the top 10 when I got into the space are you even aware of? There's only one in this top 10 list, maybe two, that you probably heard of before. Litecoin and ETH Classic, you probably have heard of those, and maybe Monero. None of them are even close to the top 10. None of them are even barely in the top 20. I think Litecoin might still be in the top 20, but those days are numbered. Litecoin is still basically only double where it was. NIM, probably haven't heard of it unless you've been in the space for over 4 years. Dash, probably haven't heard of it unless you've been in the space for over 4 years. Same thing with Stratus. IOTA, you may have heard of. IOTA is still relatively relevant. Your likelihood of picking the next big altcoin here is basically zilch. Of this top 10 list, the only one that is still in the top 10 outside of Bitcoin and ETH is XRP. And you know what? For all my XRP fanboys out there, I think XRP is going to do well. It's only triple. It's only up 200%. If you had picked altcoins 7 years ago, you would have missed out on Bitcoin going through a 16x rally and Ethereum going through a 15x rally, somewhere in that regard. That's what you would have missed out on. No, I'm sorry, 25x movement on Ethereum. 200 to 5,000 is 25x. Buying Bitcoin and Ethereum was the best strategy you could have adopted. I'm not here to say that some altcoins won't outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. There will. And I'd highly encourage people to put the majority of their portfolio outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum because there's a lot of gains to be made in this coming market. But thinking that you are going to get rich by excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum is foolhardy. And I tell you that because I love you. Let's read some chat. Had a donation from Alexander. Donated €2.49. Not pence. What is it? What is that called? How would I say that? $2.49 in euro. It's not dollars though. I don't know what the penny is in anyway. 2.49 euro. Thank you so much. You had a message and you retracted it. So if you want to restate that, you can. But not sure what you said. But thank you so much for the investment. BTC is too expensive for the average Joe. Yeah, to buy one of them. But you know what? Bitcoin was too expensive for the average Joe when it was trading at 2,700. Then it 15x. Bitcoin is subdivisable down to 1/100 millionth. You can buy like a thousandth of a penny of Bitcoin. We also use cents. Okay, that makes sense. Literally. €2.49. Could you please analyze Casper prediction in bull? Yes, we could do that. So, how the heck is Ethereum Classic still a thing? That's what I'm saying. So, yeah. Bitcoin's too expensive for the average Joe. It's not. It's probably going to 3x. You might say, oh, Jeb, only a 3x. Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. It's only going to 3x. Yeah, guaranteed 3x. More or less guaranteed. Not necessarily guaranteed, but almost the lowest risk 3x. Let's put it that way. If anything is going to 3x in this market, it's going to be Bitcoin. Period. Versus a maybe 5 to 10x on some altcoins. Take that too, but start with the lower risk. Guys, if you find a way to 3x your money every 2 years for the next 10 years, you know how much money you will have? You got to know what the principle is, but you're going to have a lot. We've got to stop with this trend of saying, oh, 3x to 5x isn't enough. 3 to 5x in 2 years is not enough. Then we've got an income problem, not a picking the right investment problem. Go get 20x on an altcoin if you know how to do that. I'm talking to the average Joe. I'm talking to in the last 90 days, we've had 387,000 individuals watch this channel. I'm talking to the 360,000 of those people that do not know how to pick an outside of the top 100 altcoin that's going to succeed. I'm talking to 95% of my audience that has no idea how to do that, and they got an hour a week for this stuff. Buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if you know how to pick the next big altcoin, then you do you. Go for it. I'm not trying to stop you. I'm not trying to stop you at all. But I will say this, not having Bitcoin and ETH in your position is foolhardy. Not saying it has to even be the majority of the position, but not having any of it, I think is foolishness. All right. Life's a risk, either get in or get out, but we believe in Bitcoin more than stocks or the US dollar. Yeah, I think having both of them is a good idea to diversify the risk even more and grow over time, but I definitely am very excited about Bitcoin. All right, let's see. Let's see. My friend who got me into Bitcoin crypto does not have one Bitcoin. He is going to lose. He might make some money, but the statistical likelihood, if you take 100,000 people to do that, on average, they're going to lose. There's going to be some people that are going to win, but on average, they're going to lose. They're going to lose their butt. And you know why? Because the whole idea of not taking Bitcoin and only taking altcoins, there's a bit of pride in that says I can do better than 3 to 5x, and I can do so much better than that I don't need any of it. I don't need the closest thing to a guaranteed 3x that I can possibly get in crypto, which is Bitcoin, because I am so good at altcoin investment that I don't need any Bitcoin. There's a degree of pride to that. And so we've got to be careful of pride. All right. So, Kaspa. Let's take a look at Kaspa. Then we're going to wrap it out here, guys. I'm excited about Kaspa because I think Kaspa actually has a chance to do what Litecoin never could. There's a reason that Litecoin's at rank number 19. It used to be rank number 4. It was the OG altcoin. I bought Litecoin at $41.02 almost a decade ago. It's at 70. I could have beat that in the stock market, guys, by a long shot, by a country freaking mile. I could have beat that. I don't hold any Litecoin. I haven't for years. That being said, Litecoin had a good vision. Just didn't have the ability to actually follow through on it because it was running on Bitcoin's tech. And Bitcoin's tech is great for what Bitcoin does. But it can't really be used for much else. Kaspa has gone through a meteoric rally. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a whole lot of TA to do on this because there's no prior highs. Every single indicator is going to say ridiculously bullish. This is one of those charts where I can just kind of look at it and tell you what everything's going to say. It's going to be well above all the moving averages. All the moving averages are going to be in a bullish alignment. If you're not familiar with that concept, then let's just jump over to CT2A. The alignment of moving averages, I forget where it is in here, but there is a video in here called The Alignment of Moving Averages. And that is a very important concept as well, and that basically states that when all the moving averages are on top of each other, shortest, shorter, longer, longest, the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200. I might talk about it in golden and death crosses, actually. But when there is a bullish alignment of moving averages, then that's where you say, hey, look, the market's kind of in blue sky breakout. That's a bull market structure. If we look at Kaspa, you're also going to see Lux Algo is going to be in profit. It's going to be moonshotting. CJO, Crypto Job Oscillator, if you're not familiar with that, sign up for that. Is going to be very bullish as well. Everything is going to be just looking as bullish as it possibly can be on Kaspa. Is there going to be a correction? Probably. Probably during this overall market correction, there will probably be some degree of a correction. But after that, Kaspa will probably jump into the top 20. It's got the tech. It's got the interest. It's got the charts to push it that high. And I think Kaspa is a good coin to get in on, especially before it gets listed on Coinbase, because a Coinbase and a Binance listing are both probably around the corner. To be honest with you, they're probably in the works right now. So before that happens, it would probably be a good idea to get a position in it. I'm a fan of that project for sure. All right, let's read a little bit more chat here. Where can you buy Kaspa? Probably the best place to buy Kaspa would be BitGet. BitGet, KuCoin, Gate, MEXC, BingX, all of those markets have it on spot, and that's what you need is on spot. All right. All right. We are about to wrap it out, but I really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Let's see. Guys, also make sure if you've not already to sign up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Guys, we are running a coupon on it right now called 20 off. If you have not signed up for CT2A, you can get access to CT2A and learn everything that you need to know about technical analysis starting today for only $277 a year. You can get 20% off by using the code 20OFF, 20OFF, and get access to over 50 videos that teach you everything that you need to know about technical analysis so you can hit the ground running, making some money in the cryptocurrency space. It's very important to understand technical analysis because if you don't understand technical analysis, you're going to have a much harder time picking the right coin. You're going to have a much harder time picking the correct time to get in when you're putting in lump sums. It's going to make it very hard for you to know how to invest in the market. It's kind of one of those basic skills that I want you to learn in crypto. So make sure you join our 5,000 students that are learning every day about how to invest in the cryptocurrency space using the art and science of technical analysis, and sign up today with the link in the description box down below using coupon code 20OFF, 20OFF at checkout to get 20% off. Boom. And also, guys, I do want to let you know that today we are officially going live with a new sponsor of the channel called Blowfin. If you guys are not familiar, Blowfin is an up-and-coming cryptocurrency exchange that really has everything that you need. You can buy, you can do spot, there is copy trading, there are earning programs with staking, and as they can see, Blowfin, that is where the whales are made. Blowfin, I think, is going to be one of the next big exchanges, and for good reason. They've got great customer service, they've got great a great user interface, great exchange, great liquidity, great depth, everything about them. They're doing a great job. And so if you want to sign up for Blowfin and get access to some of the up-and-coming cryptocurrencies, then make sure to sign up with the link in the description box down below. Quite excited about Blowfin. All right. Let's go ahead and, like I said, read some chat, and we will wrap it out here. We appreciate you, Jeb. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. This huge market bubble will collapse soon. There will be an inflation, and then it will pop. That's typically how it goes. Bad idea to have gone all in on Solana then? Yes, that's a bad idea. It's not a bad idea to hold Solana. It is a bad idea to be all in on Solana because then you and the reason for that's a bad idea is because you consolidate all your risk in one asset. And I tell you what happens if the thing goes down for 3 days? I was getting so happy with Solana because they went almost a year without having an outage. And then you know what happens? They had an outage. Torpedoed a lot of confidence. Even in me. I still hold Solana. I have not bought a single Solana since that date. A lot of people are in that boat. That's probably why it's correcting more than a lot of the other altcoins. Solana is not a bad choice, but you need to diversify the risk. Because if something happens to Solana, the problem is that you just lost your butt. The whole investment's gone to pot. You can transfer some of that risk for sacrificing a little bit of reward. Not much, to be honest with you. Bitcoin's going to run. I mean, Bitcoin's going to run. You think it's not. It's going to. Bitcoin's going to knock your socks off with how fast it runs here in a little while. I think it's a bad idea to be all in on anything unless it's Bitcoin. If it's all in on Bitcoin, then it probably means you're newer to the space and you're trying to invest in the least risk but still a large reward asset. If you're going to be all in on anything, I recommend it only be in on Bitcoin. All right. You still DCAing into Bitcoin and Ethereum, Jeb? I'm actually not personally, and the reason I'm not is because I already have a giant position in them. I am actually dollar cost averaging into the altcoins because I have such a huge position in Bitcoin and ETH. What my portfolio is lacking is as much in the alts, so that's where we're putting new money in right now. So yes, I am not personally DCAing into Bitcoin and ETH, but the reason for that is because I have a huge position in both of them that I've held on to for years, and I want more of the others. All right, Degenerate Speculator donated $2, said, when's ADA breaking out? Probably on the next time that the whole market starts to move to the upside. I think that will lead to a major breakout on ADA. I think ADA is going to go back to $1. All right, guys, make sure to sign up for the affiliates and products linked in the description box down below. They will help you in your journeys on cryptocurrency. Blowfin's a great exchange. NordVPN is going to keep you safe. CT2A is going to educate you. Lux Algo and the CryptoJeb Oscillator, which you can sign up for together. Get 30% off by going to luxalgo.com/Jeb. That's going to help you be able to read the markets and see where they're going next. I'm building a toolbox down there that you guys can sign up for. Helps to keep the channel running. Helps to make sure you guys are as successful as possible. So it's a match made in heaven, the way I see it. So check out our list of products down there. See if any of them interest you. And that is going to wrap it out for today's stream. But before we do, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you from the bottom of my heart for watching as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good